Welcome to the Radiance Unbroken podcast. This space is where women come home to themselves, mind, body, and appetite. Take a breath, settle in, and let's step into the kind of conversation that restores your radiance. Today, my special guest is Dr. Jessica Smith. She has been an educator, a professional for years. So I would like to welcome my guest, Dr. Jessica Smith. How are you
Thank you so much.
today?
I'm doing well. And yourself?
Awesome. Look, I'm happy to be here. The weather is great. And
Yeah,
what more could you ask for, right?
very true.
Jessica, I always start off with trying to get your origin story. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm currently a faculty member at Wayne State University. I've been here for about 16 years. I work as a nurse practitioner, um, happily married, exploring the world, just taking one day at a time. So that's me.
Great. Now let's dive a little deeper. Now I know I read your bio. It was like 3 pages long. So professionally, I know you have a lot going on as well as personally. So can
Mhm.
you dive a little bit more into your professional background?
Sure. So I started off as a registered nurse. I did some critical care experience. That led me into being a sexual assault nurse examiner for the city of Detroit. Became a nurse practitioner, and I've done a little bit of everything: infectious disease, emergency room medicine. I currently do correctional medicine as well. I teach in the undergraduate and graduate program here at Wayne State. Been at Wayne State for 16 years, and I absolutely love our profession.
Now, I talk a lot about being overworked, being a professional, being a mother, being there present for everybody. And we know that chronic stress can cause havoc on the body. So we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that because you've shared some things with me over the years that, really caught my attention.
Mhm.
And also in your bio, so it's like you have this professional powerhouse, and then you have this nurturing side to you as well outside of teaching and being a profession. You garden, you have animals. Now you've built a life where growth, whether in the garden or in the classroom or a person, is central. So, can you share a season of your life where everything felt overgrown or chaotic, and how you found your way back to clarity and steadiness?
So, as a professional, we try to exude this confidence of I'm put together and there's nothing I can't handle. But it is a daily struggle where every day I'm like, it's a little bit too much, and my garden's overgrown, and the critters are running around. But you really have to just be able to do one thing at a time. Just do the task that's in front of you. Of course, you can have your list of all your projects that you want to do, but I think just you're able to kind of compartmentalize a little bit, but no one has it all together. It really is a little bit of a facade. It's just, again, what is your priority? What's the one thing that you hope to kind of accomplish today? That's kind of how I approach it.
And you know what? I can relate. One
Mhm.
step at a time, right?
That's it.
Because
That's it.
because otherwise you feel overwhelmed.
You do. You do. And then there's this, I think, especially as a female, you start to feel like you're not good enough or that you're a failure. And it's not that you are. I mean, they say that no one is that strong 100% of the time, and no one has their stuff together 100% of the time. So everyone feels it. We just don't express it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some
Mhm.
of us show up with
Yeah.
this face of, I have it all put together.
No,
But
no.
on the inside, we are what? A little broken
Yeah.
or a little uneasy,
Yeah. Absolutely.
but we learn the face.
You do.
We
We do.
we learn the face.
Yeah.
And as nurses, practitioners, we know that that can become like this snowball effect of things. And it overflows into what our professional life, our
Mhm.
personal life. other
Absolutely.
things.
Absolutely.
And talking about the mind and the body alignment, as someone who teaches future nurses and practices in high acuity settings, how have you learned to listen to your body when your body is like in overdrive?
There really is that whole pathophysiology connection, right? Of that HPA, right? So essentially you have your stress and our body is meant to utilize that cortisol. It's meant to be like, hey, there's this acute response, it's a fight or flight, you respond to it and then you recover. But when you are in those high demand jobs or even roles, like you mentioned, being a mom, right? Being a partner, your body does not have a chance to reset. And it really does cause a wear and tear on your body. And you have to be able to, I always tell my students, there's that expression of know your enemy. And sometimes your enemy is yourself. So you have to know your own demons to be like, you know what? It's starting to spill into my relationship. It's starting to spill into my family. I'm showing up to work and I don't want to be here. So, what is something that can kind of give to allow me the ability to rest and dump that cortisol and then focus on what's in front of me and focus on what's important? Because it takes a toll on our bodies. So I tell students, if you need a mental health day, you need a mental health day. If you need a 20-minute, I need to reset, then that's what you need because your body has to have that rest. And I think as females and as professionals, we don't want to do that because we look at it like, oh, it's a sign of weakness. And it's not. It's a sign of reset. And it's actually a sign of strength that you know your body, that you
Come
know
on.
yourself to be like, I need 20 minutes. I need a day. And there's nothing wrong with that because you can't be the best version of yourself if you're constantly stressed out and you're constantly tired. So you have to allow that forgiveness within yourself.
Yes, forgiveness is key. It's
Hmm.
key because even, years ago when I was a wife and, with being a mother and being a professional and taking on a lot of other things, having elderly parents, I felt like I had to do that. I had to be present all the time. And forgiveness is key because I feel like if you don't take time for yourself, you're going to burn yourself out and you're not going to be available for those loved ones or,
Exactly.
for those necessities of life that keep us going and
Absolutely.
being productive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's that wear and tear even on your body. So if you're wear and tearing your body and you're breaking it down, are you really going to be able to be there for those elderly parents or be there for your kids? You're not because you're actually taking years off of your own life and we don't
Yeah,
realize that. Mhm.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And I know in life, everything's not going to be peaches and cream. Everything's not going to be, just happy go lucky either. But it's about being resilient and having some tools and resources in our toolbox to say, okay, let me step
Absolutely.
away. Let me go to a body of water and just relax there. If that's
Absolutely.
your thing. Let me go out
Absolutely.
to the farm or to the with the chickens, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because resilience, I think people think that it's this word of like you have to bounce back. And it's really
Hmm.
not. It's just you have to be able to be flexible within a situation and to grow from that and to learn from that and to adapt. And whether that's setting up boundaries or setting up walls, or like you said, I'm taking a step back and I'm going to kind of my happy place to kind of tune everything out. You don't have to be 100% all the time, and if 80% of the time would be great. And if it's not 80, it's 20. It's what can I do today that's going to allow me to be flexible and adaptable and then just be the better version of myself.
Yes. So, Jessica, thank you for being so transparent as it relates to, talking about those things because sometimes we don't even want people to know that, you know, we have those things going on in our lives. But I noticed that in the social media, in, even the professional settings, they're allowing us now to, express ourselves and to have, like you said, those mental health days, which are so important and vital in
Absolutely.
various different settings. We
Absolutely.
don't want to be in a setting and then we have a breakdown.
Right. Right. And this is our profession. Our profession is compassion and our profession is caring. And, as a caregiver, it's hard to be that nurse and that person where you kind of go through it yourself as well. But it is there, and there's nothing wrong. You only have to disclose what you feel comfortable disclosing. So you don't have to go into this detail of, hey, this is what happened and this happened. It's simply, I need a day. And if that's your boundary, then that's your boundary.
Boundaries. And I've
Yeah.
recently become the person who really sits and really grab my boundaries and utilize them.
Yeah.
It took me years because I always felt like you're supposed to, you're
Hmm.
expected to. Nowadays, my boundaries are clear.
Yep.
I protect my mental health, my mental
Absolutely.
well-being,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and we as providers, we should promote that, educate
Mhm.
our students, educate our clients, our patients that boundaries are very important
Yes.
because otherwise you overextend yourself.
You do. And really, a boundary is the way I look at it, is a fortress, right? You're protecting yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can tell somebody again what you're comfortable disclosing. You can simply, and you don't have to say, this is my boundary and you crossed it. It's simply, okay, I'm going to protect myself. You don't have to accept the other person's behavior, but I can accept my response to their behavior. And that's also my boundary of protecting myself. I don't have to forgive it. I don't have to accept it, but I'm going to protect me. And there's nothing wrong with that. So
Absolutely.
boundaries are very healthy.
Very healthy.
Mhm.
Emergency medicine, correctional care, in the correctional facilities, and academic leadership. What's one
Mhm.
adversity that reshaped your identity and made you show up differently as a woman, leader, or a clinician?
Um, so I think for that one, it would just be, just personal tragedies within my life. I mean, I never, if you were to ask me when I was a teenager, is this the trajectory of life you were going to be on? The answer is no. Like I never would have imagined myself with some of the things that have kind of happened to me. But instead of looking at them as a negative and looking at them as an embarrassment or looking at them as a self-critique, it's, what, this is going to make me a better clinician. It's going to make me a better practitioner, and it's going to make me a better educator because now I can approach other people with no judgment. Because you have to meet people where they're at, and you have to understand that everyone is going through something. So there's no need to judge and criticize. It's simply, I can offer you compassion and I can offer you some support, of course, with protecting myself as well. But definitely, I would just say some personal tragedies, again, just things hardships that have kind of happened that have just really tried to make me approach it with no judgment.
Mhm. And if you don't mind, can you dive a little deeper in how those losses, from me knowing you, I know that you've been through losses. Could
Mhm.
you share how that loss made you more compassionate and more available for your clients?
Sure. So probably the first one was I was in a relationship with somebody. We had not been dating that long. It was within like 6 months. And I literally woke up and the individual had passed away in bed next to me. He had actually died in his sleep. And that was a very visceral, like, wow. Like, this is something that you would expect, your 80-year-old husband to kind of experience. And it really kind of shaped me. And people process trauma in very different ways. So some people shut down and other people get angry and some people cry. But then I use that as a stepping stone. So when my parents passed away 2 years ago, my mom had passed
Mhm.
away in her sleep and she looked beautiful. And
Oh,
3 weeks later, my dad had a massive heart attack and he passed away. And it was that tragedy that kind of made me relive, okay, people process things differently. Again, people get angry, some people go inside themselves, and it's one thing that you can do. But I think it made me realize again that you can't judge people and people are going to react the way they're going to react. And there's nothing wrong again with taking a step back and saying, I need a minute. And because otherwise it is that chronic stress is going to wear your body out. And that's pretty much it. Yeah.
yeah. Can you dive just a little more into how it affected your body. Because
Absolutely.
my listeners, they care about, you know, their cortisol or
Sure.
their overall, well-being as being a healthy woman and aging and trying to keep it all together, even though they may have grief, even though they may have loss or tragedy.
Mhm.
Can you explore, just explain a little more about how your body responded?
Sure. Sure. I think at first, like you mentioned, just as a strong woman, you're like, oh, I'm fine. Like, there's nothing I can't handle. Here's a task, and I'm going to tackle the task. And next thing you start to notice is that you're not sleeping, or you're waking up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, like this clock. I'm like, why am I up? I'm exhausted. And then you become reliant on caffeine, and now you really can't sleep, and you're just constantly stressed out and like just kind of irritable. And then when you look back at it, this is a completely normal response. And what it is it's that stress response. And again, everyone handles it kind of differently and how they process it. But I think once you realize it's a stress response, there's a hormone trigger that occurs. Now it's kind of the time of, okay, my body's not quite doing what I need it to do. So what can I do to get rid of this cortisol? And one
Yeah,
of it really is asking for help. It's realizing that your body is waving this white flag and you don't have to have it all together because your body is processing the external and making it internal, and your body is what's adjusting to it. And that's a completely normal physiological response. Again, it's not that you're not strong mentally, it's not that you don't have everything together, but your body is responding to it on the internal.
we've been there in
Yeah.
different capacities.
Yeah.
And there's so many women out there in the listeners who don't know that they have a way out,
Yeah.
or a way to restoration, a way to, resetting. And
Absolutely.
so guests like you, it's important to tell your
Mhm.
story so that others can know that they too can heal. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I always, again, go back to, know yourself, know your demons. And if you're that type of person who sleeps 8 hours or 6 hours and you wake up and you feel rested and you feel great, and now you're like, why am I sleeping 3 hours? And what is going on? That is your body's way of saying, like, I need a little bit of help. And there's nothing wrong with asking for that help. Or again, maybe adjusting that boundary and saying, you know what, I can't do it all today. And out of the 100 and a million things I need to do, this is the one thing I'm going to tackle today. And everything else can kind of wait.
Yeah. And if you have to write it down, make a list, write it
Make a
down, put
list.
it away.
Yes, I have lists for everything. And
I
I
do
cross
too.
them out. And it's, I always told too that you start with the hardest task first. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I think we're kind of used to, oh no, do the easy one for no, start with the hard one first when you're fresh. It's the same thing I tell my students. And then you take a break. You do it for 20 minutes, you take a break, but you tackle the hard thing first.
And through loss or through heartache,
Mhm.
through I've been through a lot, you've been through a
Yeah.
lot. We
Mhm.
have these restoration like rituals or restoration tasks or things that we do. And your garden is a sanctuary. I've seen you like
Yeah.
I want to visit you one day, but your garden, what practices, whether gardening, movement, or quiet moments, help you regulate your nervous system and return to yourself?
So my number one has always been exercise. And I noticed like, after my parents had passed, I was not working out and clearly cortisol was winning, but I was chugging along and I was doing great. And then when things started to normalize was that real cortisol dump and my body took a hit from it. So
Mhm.
when I started getting back into exercise, and it doesn't have to be this, you're deadlifting 200 pounds, is I'm going to take a 20-minute walk. I'm going to do a quick bike ride. That kind of allowed me to kind of self-regulate a little bit more. But then I realized too that gardening was something that was very special to my mom. She had that green thumb and she could look at something and it would grow. And I would look at something and it would wilt and it would die. So I'm kind of starting to channel my inner Betty B, and it's getting better, and I actually find it very enjoyable. But there is some research too that just getting your hands dirty with the dirt, it increases dopamine and serotonin, and it just makes you feel better. But it also kind of goes back to, I think it's really is a form of exercise It's
Yeah.
just a different avenue of it because you're still being very physical and you're getting the beautiful vitamin D and you're outside with nature. So to me, it's a combination of both. It's not this super strenuous activity. It's no, I'm just going to be active and I'm going to do something that I enjoy or that takes a tragedy and turns it into something that's a good memory. So if that is the tragedy that someone experienced, then I always say, let's just try to flip it. What's something good that came out of that that you can
Yeah.
focus on that makes you feel good? And it could be
Yeah.
anything, but I'm a firm believer in just being active,
Ooh.
exercising, eating right, because it is that mind-gut connection. When you eat like crap, you feel like crap, and then you can't sleep, and then you feel even worse. So
Absolutely.
yeah, you can have a cheat day. I'm all for cheat days, but
Oh yeah.
it's just, it's what you put in your body and how you take care of your body. And I know that healthy foods are expensive and, people will, I'm sure, be listening and say, well, I'm already maxed. I have 8 hours worth of work to do and I don't have time to exercise and I don't have time to eat right. Okay,
Yeah.
then park your car a little farther in the parking lot, right? And now force yourself to walk that extra 15 minutes. There's little things that you can do, but you have to put yourself first. And there's nothing wrong with that. You're not being selfish. You're being proactive in your health.
This episode is brought to you by Aryze Well, where hormone health and gut restoration protocols help women restore energy, decrease brain fog, reduce abdominal bloating, and finally feel like themselves again. Telehealth visits are available. Schedule your 15-minute Discovery Wellness call today, 248-919-4766.
Putting yourself first.
Yourself first. Yes.
Taking a
Yes. We
walk
have to
outside.
take a walk outside, park a little farther, get that heart rate up just a hair, or take the stairs if you can. Little things. Have a night ritual
Absolutely.
before you go to bed so there's no cell phones 20 minutes before your head hits that pillow. Little
Yeah.
things will make a difference, but it's the only body you got, so you got to take care of it.
Absolutely. And so for myself, I even drink a small cup of tea
Yeah,
to help wind me down. And it's just
absolutely.
something that I do.
Yeah, that makes you feel good.
It makes me feel good. Let me
Yeah.
sit on my deck with the sun shining, my little music playing, my tea in my
Yeah.
hand.
Yes. That's your time. That is
Yeah.
your time and you protect it.
Yes, and finding a regimen is key. And you
Mhm.
know what? I think even like our loved ones, so like my children, they know, oh, mom's on the deck. She has
Yeah.
her cup in her hand, her music
Yeah.
is playing. So they may come out and say, hi mom, what's going on? Or
Yeah.
but they know it's that chill time for me.
Yes.
And I'm
It's your
sure,
time.
your family knows that as well. When you're in your certain
Yes.
element, when your
Yes.
chill time is,
Yeah. And
you're
don't be afraid.
resetting.
Yeah. And some people react differently. So this was definitely a barrier that my husband and I, when we first got together, had. So just based on his past experience, when things were quiet, it made him really uncomfortable.
Oh,
Because it was
okay.
just the setting he grew up. And I'm the opposite. Like I'm in my space when it's quiet and I'm in my own head and I can process things. So it was just a matter of saying to him, hey, I love you, I adore you, but I need the next 20 minutes for myself. Or I need the next hour just to kind of do me. And
Yeah.
it was a little bit of a boundary, but it works out really well. So just like with your kids, don't be afraid to say, no, this is mom's time. I will get to you. You will be my priority, but I need this half an hour just for me. And there's nothing wrong with that, but people are afraid to ask for it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
And I'm glad you said that your spouse, understood that
Mhm.
because some women may be struggling, some of our listeners
Yeah.
may be struggling, and their spouse or their children may not allow them that time. And
Yeah.
sometimes we have to take ourselves out of the environment. That
Yes.
may mean getting in your car,
Yeah.
driving around the block or to
Yeah.
the nearest park.
Yeah.
That may mean, putting on some headphones that are obvious so people
Yeah.
know, oh, I'm not gonna disturb her. She has the headphones on. Sometimes we
Absolutely.
have to be intentional.
Yes, you do. And sometimes too, it's meeting the other person halfway and saying, okay, what about my time
Hmm.
kind of upsets you? So with my husband, it was very much like, okay, it was, again, his demons and his past. So now it's okay, I'm gonna address this right from the word go of again, I love you, I'm with you. It's not about you, this is about me. So maybe, the women listening it can be the same thing of okay, you can address the other person, you can make them visible, but you can still protect yourself. And if you have to, like you said, get in the car, put those headphones on and say, you know, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to do me time at the gym, but I'm going to take the longer scenic route to kind of get there. So there's an extra 15, 20 minutes of that's my time to decompress because it is very valuable.
Is very valuable,
You
very,
need it.
very.
You need
Woo!
it.
Because as women, we carry heavy loads.
Constantly.
And yeah, constantly. And it could be a matter of different things, right?
Mhm.
So you care for students, you care for patients,
Yeah.
and a whole ecosystem at home. You have, your animals, your husband,
Yeah.
everything. What have you learned about the emotional and physical cost women pay when they're the keeper of the chaos?
I think we function on a very high cortisol level, and it causes damage long term. You may again think I'm put together, I got my stuff going on and things are great, but your body is responding physiologically. And you have to be able to recognize those signs. Again, is it insomnia? Is it showing up to work 15 minutes late because you've had it? Is it I'm calling into work? Just all that compassion fatigue, all that burnout that you're experiencing, because it takes a toll on your body. And again, it's not that you have to carry it all because you can be strong and have a boundary and set time for yourself 100%.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And on that road in this journey of life, we may have some unexpected detours, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So having our tools in place,
Yeah.
even though it's not even going to always be perfect, we may say, well, we have our tools in place, we have our resources, but sometimes they don't even work. And we have to
Exactly.
come up. Can you expand on
Exactly.
that?
Yes, I always tell people like it's, your tools are in your toolbox for a reason. It's things you can fall on. But sometimes the detours in life, they're only going to make you stronger, right? It's only going to allow you to learn from an experience and hopefully inspire someone else who's going to go through it and say, I've been in your shoes and I'm here for you. But you rely on your gut. You go with your gut instinct. You rely on those toolboxes. But again, resilience is not about bouncing back and getting back to how you were. It's about being flexible and it's about being like anti-frail, I guess is the way. Like yeah, it sucks and it's going to suck for a while, but I'm going to sit in it because it's not going to break me. It's
Mhm.
simply going to give me a little bit of a detour.
Come
So
on,
absolutely.
come on. And can you share one that felt disruptive at first, but ultimately expanded your purpose or joy?
Yes, I would definitely say, with the stress of what happened with my parents, I went into a very early menopause. Like there was no like premenopause, it was literally like, yep, nope, your body stopped. And I was very much like, wow, like this completely sucks. This is another detour that I did not anticipate. This is a detour that I did not expect. Did a little bit of research, started some of the hormone therapy, and I was like, wow. So there was my flag, and I'm reaching out to people. But now again, I think it just makes me a better clinician of no, yeah, it's mid 40s, but you don't have to ignore those signs. Like, and this is why your heart rate's 220, and this is why you're not sleeping at night and you're drenched in sweat. And this is why, you're on the super calorie restricted diet and you're gaining weight. Like it's all hormones. So even
Ooh,
though it was a detour, it was definitely unexpected. It was definitely the stress of my parents. I'm going to flip it and make a positive and say, you know what, if it can allow me to help somebody else to
yeah,
not ignore those signs, then that's what you have to do.
absolutely. And how important is being consistent, do you think, in life?
I think, no one is consistent 100% of the time. We're not, this robotic, right? So I say if you can be consistent 80% of the time, and it's the same thing with the students, right? I know you want 100% on your exam, but let's shoot
Mhm.
for 80. You know what I mean? It's more of an easier grasp, and you need to allow yourself. And one of the thing a nutrition coach taught me, and I still use it today, is if there's something you're craving, have 3 bites of it, right? That's it. You don't need the whole cake.
Exactly.
It's 3 bites. You get the craving, and you're like, okay. And that's it. And
Hmm.
then you reward
Hmm.
yourself and you kind of let it go. So 80% consistency, I feel like goes a long way. And I have a cheat meal every weekend. That's
Yeah.
just my day. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to eat. This is what I'm
Hmm.
craving. This is what I'm going to do. It's my rest day. Mike and I have fun and we, go do something for us. It's kind of like a couple's date. And then we
Yeah,
get right back on it the very next day. So 80%, because you're not a robot and you
you're
don't have
not.
to,
And
no.
you look great. I saw your
Thank
holiday
you.
pictures, your
Thank
holiday
you.
photos.
I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. And so I know that comes from being consistent and, just being a healthy person overall, I suppose. Or it could be some genetics, your mom, your dad, they gave you some good genetics
Yeah.
as well. And all right, you believe growth comes from showing up consistent.
Yeah.
So, what does consistency look like for you now in your health, in your joy, and in your boundaries?
So one thing I would definitely say for consistency in terms of my body, menopause is a game changer. You can't do what you did when you were 20 or 30. It's a game changer. So one thing I consistently do now, is I eat every 2 hours. I
Okay.
say, and I said, saying to my patients, eat like a bird. You need to, and I have no thyroid, right? So that's another thing working against me, but I eat every 2 hours to increase my metabolism. And I'm very, very good about this. Every 2 hours, it's something small. In terms of my joy, I really do try to have like one day a week with my hubby. Like this is our day. I try to really protect, even though work may call and say, "Hey, do you want to work?" No, this is our
Oh,
day. I'm going to protect this day. I
yes.
think that's also really important for your relationships. And I would just say, just being another consistent thing too is whenever I get stressed out, firm believers, I need 20 minutes. So I turn my phone off, I turn the TV off, I literally just kind of sit in it and I stew in it for 20 minutes and allows me just all those thoughts race through my brain. And then I'm like, okay, 20 minutes has passed. I kind of was doing some deep breathing and now I'm going to get back to it. So that's something else I'm very consistent about. I call it my 20-minute rule.
Come on. Yeah,
Mhm.
during the summer, my consistency is, like I said, going outside on the deck
Yeah,
every day. If
every
I were to
day.
take this blazer off, I would be a chocolate person because the sun is like giving me all the nutrients I need. But it
Yeah,
it it refuels me.
it
It re
does.
it really does.
It does.
Another thing that I do consistently now, since I'm getting older as well, I try to read the Bible because
Yes.
that helps me. It helps fuel me. It helps give me like this peace that I
Yeah.
have been missing.
Yeah.
And I said, wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Yours is protecting that tea and the sun and, reading your book. That's what you do. And you protect that.
Yeah.
And that's what you need.
During hard times or hard seasons, like I've been saying over and over and over, it's about having something or someone that
Yeah,
you can go to. Because I feel talking to people is important as well. You
absolutely.
may have that quiet season, but you also want to have somebody to confide in and
Absolutely.
that's caring and compassionate. How important is that for you?
It's huge. There's also research that people who have a really strong social network are the ones that are living to be 100, and there's a reason. And
Mm,
sometimes I'll even have students who say, I don't have anybody, right? Like I'm the only child and I can't go to my parents. And I always say, okay, so now you need to separate it. Do you need to talk to somebody or you just need to vent? Or are
yeah,
you talking to someone because you're actually seeking their advice? And they're two very different things. So if you need to go to your parent or your friend and say, you know what, I just need you to listen. I don't even need you to respond. I just need to vent. Then hopefully they'll meet you in that space. But everyone has somebody, whether
yeah,
it's a trainer or a coach or a colleague or a minister or a chaplain. Everyone has somebody, and we will help you find that person. And that's
yeah.
your soundboard. But social support is huge.
It is
Absolutely.
very important. I think over the
Absolutely.
years I've gotten better with that because for years I think I was more of a introvert
Yeah.
sometimes and then a socialite, a social bunny, I suppose, or whatever you want to call it. So now I just kind of blend them both. When it's time for me to be
Yeah.
by myself, I'm by myself, but when it's
Yeah.
time for me to socialize, I'm there.
Yeah.
So finding
Absolutely.
your balance is key,
Absolutely.
is key.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you've navigated high acuity clinical work, correctional facility nursing, healthcare, teaching, beautiful chaos of home, I suppose. When life felt heavy or uncertain, how did your faith anchor you, redirect you, or help you keep showing up with purpose?
So I think, spirituality and religion is very different for different people. And I'm a very spiritual person. And, so when things kind of happen with my parents, it was like, nope, I'm still going to talk to them every single day. So I would see little things and be like, no, that's my dad, right? Or that's my mom. And that carried me through because I think when you have that sense of you're not alone, it does help. And same thing, I don't, necessarily need to go to a church. I could read a book. I could, listen to a really good sermon and still be really inspired. It's what you put in it is what you're going to get out of it.
Come on. And if you could speak directly to every woman listening, what is one key or insight you wish she knew about reclaiming her health and vitality today?
So I will probably go back to there's nothing wrong with a boundary. A boundary is protecting yourself, and you cannot be the captain of a ship if you're not in somewhat control of yourself. So don't be afraid to set up that boundary, set up your personal space, and just tell the world, I will get to it tomorrow. You don't have to carry everything with you because you just don't. Just let it go. Set out that boundary.
Awesome. I'm setting my boundaries up. I'm gonna go over my boundaries
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna, refine them a little bit, you
Yeah,
know?
and it really you can but as the captain, you get to navigate it, right? You can say, nope, I'm
Mhm.
going to drop this boundary and allow this person in because I still want to
Mhm.
protect what's important to me, but I'm going to further this boundary with this individual or with this work setting because it's protecting yourself. So I'm
Exactly.
I'm really big into boundaries and I really wish I would have known about them a lot sooner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same here. I don't think my parents taught me about them.
No,
So
but
I found out in my
yeah.
adult.
You do, because I think, sometimes parents too, like there's people pleasing and it's you need to be nice. I always tell people it's how you phrase it. I will be very nice to you. I will meet you at the energy you meet me,
Yeah.
but this is still a boundary.
Yeah.
So I'm still going to be nice to you, but it's a boundary.
Yeah. And I
Mhm.
think I'm glad you mentioned people pleasing
Mhm.
because that can be exhausting.
It's super exhausting and you can't please everybody. You cannot please everybody. And at what detriment to yourself? Right. So
Exactly.
no, you can be
Yeah.
nice to everybody, but you do
Hmm.
not have to people please. You can say
Yeah.
no.
Kindness is key. Kind. Be
Absolutely.
kind. But I'm still gonna have my boundaries with my
Yeah.
kindness. I'm gonna
Yes.
protect my health
Yes.
because
Because
years
that's all you
ago,
have. Mhm.
yeah. And years ago, when I was going through all my stresses of life, and some of them may have been, let's see, exacerbated or
Yeah.
made larger due to the stressors of someone else.
Yeah.
I had to learn that. I had to learn how to take charge
Yes.
so that I wouldn't die. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it is. It will keep you up at night. And then no. So yeah, the best piece of advice that I ever received was it's not about you,
Whew,
right? That is their business. That's their drama. I don't have to
no.
accept it, right? That's their issue. But I'm going to
Yeah,
put that boundary up for me to protect myself. So the people that are closest in my circle are going to get the best of me because
yeah,
I'm not dealing with that. So yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
Wow. I thank you so much for sharing your story with us today and giving us insight from the medical aspect, from the personal experience, and how women can use those resources that you provided in your experience to move forward and to become the person that they were meant to be instead of giving all of themselves without resetting or refueling.
Yeah.
And before we leave, I want to do one fun, this is my first time doing this, but a
Okay.
fun closing game. Okay, since you like flowers and nature and animals, I thought we would call this bloom or boom.
Okay.
Okay. And so I would give you a choice, but I'm just going to give you both.
Okay.
So let's start with the bloom choice. So if your life right now were a flower in your garden, which one would it be and why?
Oh, um, so when my mom found out that she was pregnant with me, she planted a magnolia tree. So the tree is as old as I am. It's this beautiful magnolia. I have a magnolia tattooed on my arm with my parents' signature. So it would be a magnolia, but it also made me appreciate, magnolias only bloom for a very short period of time. They're one of the hardest flowers. I've tried to preserve it and I can't do it, but it makes it more special because you don't see it all the time. So I'm
Come
going to say
on.
magnolia.
Ooh,
Yes, ma'am.
awesome. And then for the boom moment, the boom, what's one small, unexpected moment this year that made you laugh, reset, and feel joy instantly?
Um, So you know what? I hit my 16 years at Wayne State, right? I just got, the assistant professor. That was a really big, like, okay, I kind of made it just a little bit. You don't realize that you're at a job for so long, and it kind of made me like, oh wow, I'm like a dinosaur in this building. But it really was a come to moment of like, nope, I'm exactly where I need to be. So that was my boom moment.
Well,
Yeah.
congratulations on that and all of your other successes that you've, accomplished. Your
Thank you.
bio is just magnificent.
Yeah.
Okay. And if anybody wanted to reach out to you, Dr. Jessica, how could they find you?
Yeah, so we're on the Wayne State website. So it's just the A is an apple, G is giraffe, 5205 at wayne.edu. I always tell people occasionally it'll go to spam, right? We have really good firewall here at Wayne State, but that my office hours numbers are on there as well. So yeah, definitely my work email will be the best. Mhm.
Yes, well, thank you so much.
Sure.
And for my listeners out there, until next time, let's focus on our mind, body, and appetite so that we can reset. And I'll see you next time on Radiance Unbroken. Thank you for spending time with me on Radiance Unbroken. If today's conversation stirs something in you, clarity, conviction, or even the awareness that your body and spirit are asking for more, trust that. This is your invitation to step out of survival mode and into supported whole woman healing. If you're ready for personalized hormone restoration, nervous system regulation, or functional wellness coaching, you can connect with me at Aryze Well or explore ways to work with me in the show notes. Until next time.